Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Castleberry. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be starting episode 3, Saving and Investing, in our current kind of all about financial planning series. So we're going to break this episode actually into 4 parts. So today, we are going to focus on part 1, which is going to be the importance of saving. So really what we want to talk about is not necessarily jump into the where to save or how to save today, and then how to invest your assets, but just the general overall importance of what are the benefits of saving and investing. Why is it so important? How can you safeguard yourself? How can you secure a brighter future? And really just go through a list of things that you can really truly benefit from and why savings is so important. I think before we jump into that though, a lot of it comes from delayed gratification. I think before you even look at the benefits of savings and the benefits of investing, you have to kind of understand the general concept of delayed gratification. So I feel like it's very common, and I really truly don't like when people say in our society today it's very common, because I'm pretty sure you go back any point in time, people would pretty often choose something that was a gratifying experience in the now rather than a delayed gratification. I don't think human nature has changed all that much. I think just the way that you express that might have changed. But delayed gratification is essentially saying, I'm going to delay doing something that benefits me or makes me feel good or does something positive to me today, in a sense, and you push that off. So you gratify yourself in the future. So this is one of those things where future you will look back and say, thanks, man. But present you might be a little bit bummed because you're not actually doing something. So when we talk about the benefits of savings and investing, it is a long-term picture. It's you're delaying gratification today, delaying spending, delaying some experience today in order for you to be able to do those experiences or have that higher level of spending or have that quality of life when you no longer have income coming in, or when it's just maybe 5-10 years from now and you're still working, but you need to purchase something larger that you've really been looking forward to. So I wanted to start off with that because I think that is a very important concept when we're talking about the importance of saving and we start going into the investing conversation, because again, it's not you're going to invest today and 2 weeks from now you're suddenly going to be wealthy. A lot of times it is a decade-long process. And again, we'll talk about that more later. But so first off, what I want to look at is first thing that's kind of a key important factor of savings is it's going to build financial security and it's going to build peace of mind for yourself. So when I say this, we're really looking at you specifically, not those immediately around you. But it's going to start to build financial security. So you're going to start to have a cushion. I believe there is and I don't know, take the statistic as you will, but I think it's like 60% of Americans wouldn't be able to cover $1,000 emergency without having to tap into some sort of credit, like take out a personal loan or a credit card, which means there's only about, again, 40% when you just take the other side of that would be able to generate enough to cover $1,000 expense. So that can be nerve-wracking in itself. Even if you don't have something that's going wrong actively, if you know in the back of your mind that if you get a flat tire, if a transmission goes out, if you get sick and miss work for 2 weeks, whatever that might be, if that's enough to put you into a financial tailspin and just a tumultuous time, that is going to really weigh on you from a mental standpoint. You are going to have a lot of added stress. It is going to affect your health long term. So being able to start saving and build that financial security blanket so you could cover an emergency, you have that peace of mind. It's not just going to do great things for your ability to continue to invest and build your wealth long term, but it's going to do great things for you personally. Next is goal achievement. So we've talked about goals in our last really 2 episodes quite a bit. We talked about goal setting, talked about what to do with that, talked about how to implement some of those. But now goal achievement is really going to be done once you've set the goal and you've started those implementation steps. Saving and investing are going to be your primary way to hit those financial goals, whether it's buy a house, whether it's fund your retirement, whether it's paying for kids' college, setting aside money for fun vacations, whatever that might be. That's really where you're looking at for goal achievement. Now, financial freedom and debt management, this is going to be to the point where if one of your goals is to have no debt, including your mortgage, to where you owe no one a liability. There's a lot of financial freedom in that. Or you can look at financial freedom in the sense of you no longer require an income from an employer to maintain your lifestyle. So if you are one of the lucky individuals that has finally saved and invested enough to the point where you can say, I like working at my job and I want to keep doing it, but it's not because I need the paycheck. The paycheck is a plus. That is where I would say financial freedom is truly realized at that point. Not when you no longer are working, but when you no longer have to work for an income. You can choose jobs based on passion, based on interest, rather than choosing jobs based on I need to get paid at the end of this 2-week pay period or monthly pay period in order to continue to survive for another month. So financial freedom and being able to kind of manage your debt well or get it paid off is another one. Emergency preparedness. So this is going to come very similar to that financial security. You will now have the ability to weather a financial emergency at that point. So if you have something that happens, you're going to be able to take money out of savings and cover it without having to change your lifestyle at all. And that's where I'd say emergency preparedness comes in. You want to be able to cover that emergency and not change your lifestyle. If you are having to dramatically tail back your lifestyle, you probably don't have the financial security you think you have if an emergency pushes you back to say, all right, well, I'm back to rice and beans only for 2 weeks because I had to pay to cover XYZ on my car or XYZ for a child or whatever it might be. You really want to look at that emergency preparedness and say, all right, if I came into some sort of financial trouble, am I able to cover that up to a reasonable amount? And I'd say, like, if you're looking or thinking emergency reserve standpoint, maybe for like a single income household, that would be able to, if something happened where your income stopped, live for 6 months without changing your life whatsoever. If it's a 2-income household, you could maybe ratchet that down to 3 months. It just depends on how kind of naturally conservative you are. But to that point, if you can weather that storm and not change your lifestyle at all, that's where I would say you've really hit that. I am able to cover an emergency. I am fully prepared. I have that financial security. If you don't have that ability and it does really cause you to have to cut back a lot, it doesn't mean that you're not building in the right direction, but you might not say, well, I'm 100% financially secure at that point. Now, next is going to be retirement planning. So when you start to save, retirement planning is going to be probably one of the biggest things people talk about, and it's what we'll spend a decent amount of time on in further episodes because you want to make sure you are saving and investing enough to where you can retire, you can stop working. So this isn't going to be financial freedom per se, where you are able to stop working, but this is going to be when you're finally stopping working and you have saved and invested enough in different assets, different investment accounts in order to fund your entire lifestyle from that point in time until the point in time you pass away exactly how you want. So you are preparing for retirement that way. That is a very long journey, and that really entails a lot of consistency in your saving, a lot of consistency in increasing that if you haven't started early enough. And it's going to take a lot of accumulation and a lot of compound interest in there, because I always like to say when you're talking about retirement planning, it's, again, not something that's done overnight. If you look at a typical 401k, so someone that just has been working middle income for 30 years, 2/3 of that 401k balance when they retire is typically built in the last 10 years of their working lives. So a lot of times when you're thinking about retirement planning and you're saving and investing early, it takes 10 to 15 years for you to really feel like your wheels are spinning. A lot of that first 10 years, I see people get really discouraged with themselves, mainly because their account's only going up by what they're actually putting in. You're just not seeing a lot of growth from the investment return in there. And part of that might be a poor market, but a lot of that's just, if you put $100 in and you get a 20% return, great. You made $20. You need time for that to really compound, because once you get to that 10, 15 year mark, depending on the market environment, that's when you can really start to see meaningful moves in the growth of that account, more so than it being very, very driven just by your savings. Next is going to be opportunity creation. So you might have always heard like the phrase opportunity cost. If there's a cost to not choosing to do something, opportunity creation is kind of the flip side of that, where you now have doors open to you through saving and investing that you might not have had otherwise. It might be able to pursue a rental property if you wanted to. It might be able to pursue starting a small side business if that's something you've always wanted to do, because you have financial security to step out a little bit more, take a little bit more risk in a different part of your life, and be able to have some opportunities to create something. Or it might just be being able to buy something large that you never actually had before. But by being consistent and being kind of really prudent in your investing, you're able to start to build, to see those opportunities open up, to where if you never had that idea of delayed gratification and you're always just hitting, what can I do next week? What can I do next week? You never actually build anywhere at that point. So that's a really big one and a really big positive, I think. Next is going to be peace of mind for your loved ones. So this gets outside of just your peace of mind and knowing that you have a security blanket, you have financial security, but this is also coming to your loved ones. So your spouse, your family members, your dependents, your children, being able to take care of them, being able to make sure they are not stressed on where their next paycheck is going to come from, or their next meal is going to come from, or what they're going to do for college, or how they're going to buy their first house. But being able to not only give them peace of mind, but also ultimately be able to help and share what you have been able to grow and develop with them, so kind of y'all can rise together at that point. But that's a huge one, and just being able to make sure all of the people you care about are also in a position where they have that peace of mind as well. And lastly, that runs straight into legacy planning. So legacy planning is going to be able to create essentially wealth for your children or your grandchildren. And that might not be the type of wealth you see like in the news of like, oh, Bill Gates is leaving blah, blah, blah billion to his kids. But wealth in the sense of being able to help your kids out with a down payment on their first home, being able to pay for a wedding, being able to spoil your grandkids, being able to do all the little fun things that are really meaningful for the ones you care about, your children, your grandchildren. If you leave them inheritance, great. Ideally, they're also saving and investing as well, and you've taught them how to do that and shown them by example of what you've been doing. But just being able to do little favors, simple gestures of love and care that you can spend and do without having to worry about your own financial stability, those are absolutely huge. And those are absolutely huge in really realizing and enjoying your retirement as well, is not having to worry about where your lifestyle is going to come from a financial standpoint, but knowing that is secure, and then knowing you are able to give and love your loved ones with financial gestures is a part of that. So those are probably the big things I think are really important from a savings and investing standpoint. So that's part one. Again, please check out the rest of our videos, like and subscribe to our channel, and hope you have a great day.